Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Charitable and Home Care. Very glad you are joining us, however you may be joining us. And while you're sitting inside and you're enjoying this really cool and wonderful air conditioning, you need to realize maybe why it costs so much. So one of the things that we want to be able to do is kind of bring to you some of the experts in the field to explain why our bills may have been and are on the rise. Got a couple people to do that. Al Galindo,
Yes.
who is the Regional Customer Service Manager for Entergy, Louisiana. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome, and always making the segment better and better looking. We appreciate Paula being here. Makes the a whole lot better when we have somebody who can make the panel look prettier. Paula is the Customer Service Manager of the Bayou region of Entergy, Louisiana as well, and new to the company, right?
Thanks, Keith. Yes.
Very good. Glad you're doing that. So, Al, let's talk a little bit about this. I appreciate you kind of developing this PowerPoint just to kind of help explain what's really happening with the energy bills.
Sure. Thank you, Keith. As with the economy, we're seeing increases in so many different prices, certainly from gasoline, food, the energy prices that Entergy charges, which are regulated by the Public Service Commission, are also seeing some of those increases. So what we're trying to do is get out in front of our customers just to proactively communicate and provide information on what is driving those cost increases so that folks can have a better understanding of, what the impact is on their bills. And then secondly, provide information on how they can help control consumption, which certainly can help control their bills.
My wife and I are talking about that with both AC units. What do we do? How do we do it? Let's roll through this so people can understand. Thank you, Jen. So this first one here, talking a little bit about really some energy ideas, utility bills, and how people can save money, right?
Sure.
Okay. First, let's talk about those bills.
So you can see on this slide, it shows the price changes for various commodities, basically from January 2020, which was right before the start of the pandemic, to just past April. You can see, milk's gone up 23%, coffee 33%, gasoline 51%, eggs 73%, and certainly the rates from Entergy Louisiana have gone up 27%, primarily because of the fuel costs that's associated with the component of your electric bill.
Yeah, and people don't always relate electricity to fuel, but they're directly related.
Correct.
Very good. All right, Jen.
So the factors that impact our utility bills is really the summer heat, which creates increased costs.
Right.
The components that we don't profit from at Entergy are the natural gas prices, which are part of the fuel component on the bill. That's a pass-through cost, and then the storm recovery costs, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Right, and probably in a whole lot more.
Right.
And important to know that Entergy doesn't profit from either of those two
That's correct.
factors. Okay, very good. All right, Jen.
So this is the slide that really shows the way that the fuel component is associated with the electric bill. 56% of our generating capacity or power plants is fueled by natural gas, and so those natural gas costs are actually passed through to the customers, basically what we pay for those gas prices. And so you can see in the slide that the Henry Hub is the natural gas market indicator for natural gas contracts.
Okay.
And then the legacy ELL rate chart shows what we actually charge customers based on what we're paying for the fuel and the transportation to our power plants to power those plants to generate electricity. So you can see in 2021 and even more recently, natural gas prices have gone up so high that it puts the 12 cent per kilowatt hour cost just for the fuel on the electric bill. So you're talking about half of the actual electric bill is the fuel component. And then when you also tack on the pass-through cost for storm costs,
right.
then it's adding more cost to the bill.
And so, gotcha. And so, fuel makes up a half or a third?
A third.
Okay.
A third.
All right. Just wanted to make sure
Yes.
About that.
So,
very good.
So you can see here in April of this year, the gas costs were double than those of April of 2021 and 3 times higher than April 2020. And so those fuel costs are certainly impacting the customer. So customer that consumes about 1,000 kilowatt hours a month of electricity, it's about a $25 increase in June. And so what we're doing at Entergy Louisiana is we're deferring recovery of those costs to approximately $10 for June bills, and then the remainder recovery leaving $15 in June.
On June. I got you. Yeah. So increasing that from May through
Right.
June. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. Very good. Next one. Thank you.
So the other component that has been impacting our customers is the recovery cost for storms. We're an investor-owned utility, and the Louisiana Public Service Commission regulates Entergy. So when we go back in front of the Public Service Commission to show the costs that were expended for all of the recovery, we have to show prudency in our costs. And so those costs are approved, and they're also a pass-through to our customers. Now, one of the things that Entergy does, along with the state legislature and the Public Service Commission, is we get bonds that are secured, so that we can capture a lower interest rate for those bonds, and we spread out those storm recovery costs over a 15-year period. So it's a way for the customers to have lower impacts on their storm costs for us to recover. We pay that out after the storm hits. We bring people in, we get all the work done, and so part of the regulatory process that Entergy has to go through is to go before the Public Service Commission and show prudency in the cost for recovery.
Yeah, and so quite frankly, what you're trying to do is get these government bonds at a lower rate and be able to pay them off later, even though they're costing you up front.
Correct.
And that's what people don't always understand. All they do is look at their bill like, oh my God, how could they go up so much? Well, they're doing everything they can to defer some of those costs and actually taking those hits on the front end,
right,
to defer those costs to other people. And now we're talking a lot of time about spending a little time talking about what's really been impacting the bill. Let's talk a little bit how they can understand their bill. So Jen, bring that up if you don't mind, about how to understand your monthly bill, and Al can maybe recap that a little bit.
Yeah, Keith, there's really three components to your bill, and you can see on this slide, it's the first one is the energy charge, which is really the non-fuel cost that's associated with Entergy's delivery of electricity to your home and business. Those rates are based on approved and authorized rates by the Public Service Commission, and they change infrequently, typically once or twice a year. So that's the first part of your bill.
Okay.
If you go to the next slide, it's the fuel component, and this is what we were just talking about. It's the cost that Entergy pays for the generation of electricity at their power plants, and so the natural gas portion of it is incorporated into that cost. And you can see that it is a pretty significant increase that we're going to see over the next couple of months, and so that's why we're here trying to speak to customers about making sure that that they understand what that portion of the bill is.
Okay.
And then the third part is the storm offset cost, and those are the ones that Entergy is able to collect as a pass-through. No profit is made from that as well, in order to recover the cost for the expenses incurred after the storm. And so the way the storm costs are currently set up, we're coming off of Hurricanes Gustav and Ike. Those will come off at the end of the summer.
Right.
We still have Hurricane Isaac in there, and then Ida, Laura, Zeta, Delta, and then the winter storm from last year. They're all being combined. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
It really is. And I want that bill, by the way. I want mine to go down to that one. So, honey, if you're watching, that's our bill. Al and Paula said we can use that one. Just kidding. So what happens for those people who are really struggling? There's a lot of people who really, between gas prices going up for you, they're going up for consumers as well. What can people do if they need help paying their bill?
Sure. We have services that we work with community partners to help customers who are having challenges paying their bill. We offer payment extensions. If a customer can't pay their bill when it's due, we have an opportunity to provide payment extensions. But we also have other options, levelized billing, where you can spread out the cost of your bill over the year. It does adjust once a month, but it's not a significant impact, so it kind of covers those peaks and valleys. Yeah. And then we also have deferred payment arrangements where folks can defer their payments for up to 4 months in order to help with some of those costs.
And so just some individual options, and that's a financial option as well. Go ahead.
And then we have bill assistance through agency programs. The Power to Care is one of Entergy's programs where employees and customers can donate to the Power to Care Fund, and those dollars are used to help customers that need help in paying their bill. And then we have the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, which is typically run by a local community action agency. There may be one here in Lafourche or Terrebonne Parish that run those services, and that is based on income requirements, but it does give customers an opportunity to get help on their bills.
Right. And so some really good options for people that are donating. And then if you fall into that category where you qualify to get the help from their energy assistance program, that's a possibility as well. Spend the last bit of our time talking about efficiency.
Yeah, that's another component that many customers can implement to try to help control their costs. One of the things that we try to promote to customers is, the consumption of energy is what impacts your bill. So if there's ways that you can incorporate measures or practices that reduce the consumption of energy, then it helps to control the bill. So the first one here is a program that Entergy Louisiana sponsors. It's called Entergy Solutions. It's our Entergy conservation program that helps save energy and money by providing customers with various energy efficiency upgrades, including no-cost home performance with Energy Star. And that depending on the improvements, customers could save up to 20% or more on their electric bill. The largest part of the electric bill is the running of your air conditioner. So if there's ways that you can make your air conditioner more efficient, simple things like changing the filter,
right?
Making sure you change the filter once a month, keeping them clean, controlling the thermostat. I know.
Look, if it's 110 outside, don't put your AC at 60.
Right.
Put your AC 75 or 80. It's going to feel really cool when you come in anyway.
Right.
You can adjust those things, right?
Yeah, at 78 degrees, if you set your thermostat at 78 degrees, for every degree that you lower your thermostat, it's about a 3% savings on your electric bill. So, and
3%
so you have
for every degree. All right.
So you have to kind of, feel what's comfortable for you, but
Right.
know that is one of the factors that drives the cost of electricity.
Okay.
The other thing too that I wanted to mention, Keith, that a lot of folks don't really think about is the areas around your windows and doors. You get a lot of air infiltration. So if you don't have weather stripping or any sort of caulking around your windows and doors, that flow of infiltration is what causes the cool air from inside the house to be drawn to the outside. And so you're losing air through those infiltration areas.
Okay.
So certainly weather stripping and caulking are low
Makes a
cost
difference.
measures that folks can use to help control that.
Well, since Al and I dominated the conversation, put the last slide back up, Jen, if you don't mind, because I want Paula to be able to say a little bit about what people can do to contact her. A couple of different places they can do that, right?
Yes. So you can go to myenergy.com to learn more about your bills and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But Keith, you mentioned that I'm new to the company. So
Right.
I am the new customer service manager for the Bayou region.
Right.
So you can contact me at prome@energy.com if you have any questions about how energy can help you here in the Bayou region.
Wow. And if you're interested again in saving, you can go to the entergy.com/save money. And it's a way to do that. And then after you do that, then you can reach out to Paula P-Rome@energy.com, and you can talk with her a little bit about some of the options that you may, or that individuals may need. It's like, oh, well, I can do something differently. And maybe they can help with that. Paula, we appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of the team and helping to make a difference for other people. Al, thanks for all the information, the research, and kind of guiding our team here in the Bayou region.
You're very welcome.
All right, very good. And that will do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou time when we continue.